Hello. So I'm coming on with Esther. For those of you who might not know me, hi, I'm Kate Hertwack, art psychotherapist and clinical supervisor at Integrative Psychotherapy. Coming on live with Esther to do a quick Q&A about the art therapy group that is starting in just a few weeks. So I'm waiting for Esther to shoot me a little wave saying she's here to join. Just give it a few minutes. So we're so excited about our first ever group experience that we are inviting everyone to apply and hopefully get some folks who are ready to experience a shift in their anxiety. Maybe they experience social anxiety and really ready to experience a shift and in a new way through expressive arts therapy. So let me see if I can go ahead and invite her. Invite. Oh. Okay. Hello, everyone. Excited to be here. And Esther is going to be asking some questions that we've gotten about this group, and also questions that you may have about this group. Simple questions, more in-depth questions. We'll be chatting for about 15-20 minutes, really doing a nice deep dive into the benefits and what we're offering and what you can get out of this group. So, hi Laura, one of our team members is here. It says she's unable to join. Oh, there she is. Hi.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Okay.
That's okay. I feel like lives always take a few minutes to get going.
I thought you were gonna start talking without me.
No, but you gotta keep it going while you're waiting, right?
Kate, long time no see. I'm so excited that we're on here.
Yes, I'm so excited to have a few moments, 15-20 minutes to really kind of deep dive into some questions about this group. Questions that we've received and also questions you may have about this group, right? Those of you watching.
So let's talk about for a minute, Kate, like what is this art therapy group that we're talking about? What's the concept of the art therapy group? Just so all of you guys know, Kate's like a masterful, hey Laura, clinician and also a supervisor at our practice. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what art therapy is? And then we'll talk about the specific group that we are offering.
Yeah, so let's start with what art therapy is. So art therapy is a type of psychotherapy where you're really utilizing what we know about the power of the therapeutic experience, and then you're adding the art process to that. So the art process really becomes a therapeutic frame for unconscious material, emotions, feelings, body sensations to come forward into the therapeutic relationship and have a landing point where almost having something outside of yourself to then reflect back in. So it adds like an extra maybe oomph to the therapeutic process. And there's something powerful and deeply healing about art making versus maybe just talking alone. And what's powerful about that, and I think I've made some videos that we're going to post about this, the neuroscience behind art therapy, is that art making really accesses parts of the brain that we can't access with verbally speaking, verbally processing. So when you're art making about a traumatic experience or how you're feeling in this moment, or sensations you're feeling in your body, or something that happened between you and your partner that triggered you, you're accessing more information that's coming forward. So you have more to work with within the frame. So I could go on.
Well, what you're saying, tell me if this is what you're saying.
Mm.
You hear me clearly, by the way, because sometimes my phone goes in and out.
No, I hear you. Yeah.
What you're basically saying is that the concept of artwork is that sometimes we have certain things that we're struggling with, like a dynamic or emotions or anxiety or whatever it is. And like we can talk about it verbally. But the thing about art is that it kind of allows us to tap into like another layer that maybe words don't help us go to. And so you're saying, like, let's say I had a fight with my boyfriend, or let's say I have this feeling of like sadness, like a cloak, like a heavy cloak of sadness, or I have this like nagging negative voice in my head. You're saying like engaging with art can help me maybe get to another layer that just talking about it won't get to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mentioned that. You're so right. That's exactly what it does. And then also, it kind of bypasses that verbal process as well. So if you've ever experienced where I don't know how to express how I feel, I don't know what I think about what just happened this weekend. Art can really provide an opportunity for you to begin to express that before even speaking about it. And then by reflecting back and seeing the artwork, then you're able to talk about it because you start talking about the artwork, which is about the experience or the event or the feeling. So it can bypass that feeling that some of us get that we don't even know where to begin to explain something. And that takes off a lot of pressure when we're having a hard time. I know for myself, I don't know about you, but there's been different chapters in my life where something's been really going on, and you have this feeling of like, I don't know even know where to begin, or I don't know what words to say first to explain this. And art kind of just offers a totally new pathway for healing. So that's probably the most exciting and powerful benefit, in my opinion.
So let's talk about, thank you. Let's talk about why we are offering an art therapy group. Like what's the point of art therapy? What's the difference between like a group than one-on-one therapy? And also let's talk about what the goals of the group are, because you know how at our practice we're really goal oriented. So although therapy can be like a nice concept, what the goals are. So tell us like what's the point of a group?
Yeah. So the point of the group is to expand on the benefits of individual psychotherapy. So I briefly mentioned before that there's a healing power in the therapeutic relationship alone. Having someone just there with you while you're feeling or experiencing or processing. The group experience, having more than one person witness and part of that process, multiplies that. So what we know about healing is that we can't heal in a vacuum. We can't heal by ourselves and in a dark room alone. We need other people to help us heal.
Mm.
And support groups and therapy groups give us that community. And also because other people in the group are there probably for the same or similar reasons, helps you feel like you're less alone. And really transforms that healing power of the relationship and puts it in the group frame where you're getting different perspectives. You're feeling as though you're connecting with like-minded individuals. Maybe, like I said, you're feeling less alone because someone in that group is sharing something that you didn't think anyone else went through. And then being facilitated by a therapist, there's going to be a professional there that can guide you and the group members into a deeper healing process, because here I have these 4 people beside me who went through similar things. And wow, I just witnessed this person right in front of me have an aha moment.
Mm.
And for me, and oh wow, why, while I see this person have the aha moment about their specific thing that kind of rubs very close to my specific thing, oh, I'm having an aha moment. So it's really like this multiplication effect. And it kills two birds with one stone, where you're getting that healing power of the therapeutic relationship plus the necessity for community and support as well.
So let's just like, I love what you're saying. I
Mm.
think kind of to reflect to what you're saying and kind of just from my own place, this has been a conversation. I know Kate, you and I and everyone at our practice, like we've been talking about the need for groups because there's a real power to one-on-one psychotherapy. And as cool as therapists are, like we're not that cool. I think there's the power of like human beings. And sometimes like you can have a conversation with a peer or you could be in a group dynamic and it's like you're struggling with anxiety too. I kind of pulled up actually the page on the landing page on the website for the group and I'm kind of just going to read some snippets for anyone who has questions. But essentially there's a power in a group, and this group, what I love about like the format and how you guys are organizing it, is that it's like so human and so normal. Like personally, if it was up to me, Kate, like I want you to run a group for me and my friends, or my colleagues. Like, and so I think that the thing that I love about this art therapy group is that it's not specifically like a trauma group. It's not like a heavy therapeutic group. It's a light exploration. We talk all about the concept of connection and anxiety, which I'll talk about in a minute with you. But essentially, it's really a space for people who are like, are committed to growing, have done a certain level of work, or are emotionally aware. And they're very human in their process. Like, there's no like shame or weirdness. Like, personally, and we actually might want to do this, if there's another group running side by side, I'd be going to that group. Like, I personally find the power of groups, you know, to be incredibly powerful. What's his name? Oh, Yalom talks about groups, right? He talks about how he's part of like a group for therapists for many years, and there's the power of groups. And so one of the things at our practice is that we do want to provide an aspect of like lowering the feeling of isolation, because I know for my own self, when I beyond therapy, right, and beyond like boxing or yoga, there's something really powerful of being surrounded by people who just like get it. They get the struggle, even if their struggle is similar or different. But I think that's what you're talking about, is just like I'm with people who have like similar dynamics or similar struggles. They're really like, they're smart, they're capable, they're aware, but they want to deepen their experience of this thing called life, and they want to have less anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I could ask why this group, why are we doing groups? And you touched upon it a little bit, but we're really seeing the need. There's seeing the need in our work with clients, and we're seeing the need and hearing the need from those of us giving feedback that we really need to run groups, because like you said, having a community of like-minded individuals, even if it's just human connection, right? Even if it is just an art therapy group, there's art groups called open studio groups where you just come and go as you please and you just make art freely with no agenda. It can be so powerful because for some of us, where we're doing great at work and we're going home and we're getting all the things done, but there's this nagging feeling, and we'll talk about this when it comes to connection. There's this nagging feeling like just you're wanting a little bit more, and you're looking at the connections in your life, and you're wondering where there's a disconnect or where you're not feeling that deep nourishment. And support groups, and this group is an example of how powerful it can be and how you can achieve that. Right. Yeah.
I think the big piece about groups is, and we don't have to like go on and on about groups. I think the powerful thing about groups is that, first of all, I think healing, we all heal in different ways, right? And different kind of spaces provide a different kind of healing.
Mm.
Offices are decorated really nicely and cozily, just saying. So I think like being in a place where it's like warm, it's welcoming, you're with like a masterful clinician. Kate is trauma informed and has been working in the field for a number of years. And we're essentially, I think it's about human connection, but also where there's a framework that provides like a certain sense of like steadiness, where you could kind of land and talk about, and we'll go through like the curriculum because I know it's very specific, but really a place to land and just be like, I don't know maybe why I'm here, but I know I have anxiety, or I know I feel really lonely, even though I have friends in my life, or I don't have that many friends, but I want to make sure I'm making the right kind of connections, but I kind of feel stuck. So just like having a space, I think is really powerful for us. I know for my own self, my social network or the people in my life means so much to me and for my own health. And so that's why we're committed, like as a practice, to be able to provide that group, and also for like friendships to develop, right? It's like being in a space where it's like you can share the humanity. Can I read some of the page? Like I'll just read some of the
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at the page as well, so we can read it together.
So, right, so the top of the page, and we'll link it in the notes here, but we'll link it, and we're actually going to send out an email to anyone who signed up for our email. If you're not yet signed up for our email, just go to our link in the bio so you can sign up for our monthly emails. But basically, it says less anxiety, better relationships. An 8-week group therapy experience to help you heal your anxiety. And then a little bit of the page says your anxiety shadows the love for yourself and others. You feel like you've seen progress in your healing journey, but you still struggle with anxiety. It makes it so hard to feel connected with your partner, your kids, at work, or with friends. You talk about it in therapy, but you can't seem to make changes in how you're feeling when you are with others. You want more connections, but your experience with anxiety makes it even more challenging to take those steps out of your comfort zone, right?
Mm.
And then there's questions of like, how can you begin to feel deeply understood by others? You need a little push, something out of the box, and maybe then you'll experience a shift. And you really want to feel comfortable in your skin when you're in a group of strangers, or to have confidence when you're with even like your partner or a friend. And you're done talking about it, you want to experience a change, right?
Yeah, yeah. So one of the goals that this group is aiming to help individuals achieve is by being maybe a different experience than you ever experienced before in our therapy group. I'm really kind of energetically encouraging those art therapy first timers to come into the group. By experiencing something a bit more out of your comfort zone, you may be able to tap into those blockages, those shifts that have been in the way so far, right? Your experience of anxiety, there's just something there that you're wanting to love on yourself more, or you're feeling like your individual experience with anxiety sometimes just you don't feel deeply connected to yourself, or maybe you don't even know what that means or who you really are, and then you're out with friends
Yeah.
or with colleagues or whatever, and you're seeing these people connect in these ways, and you're wondering, well, how do I get that?
Mm-hmm.
I'm conscious in a crowd, or I know that we have folks that experience different levels of social anxiety where they're feeling anxious about connecting with others. So this group will help you really find those spaces, those gaps, those blockages, and bring more awareness to those areas. And because of the group experience and the second part, the 4 weeks at the end, which we can go more into the curriculum in a little bit, because of the group experience, you're going to have this experimental experience to try on working through those blockages in real time, because
Yeah.
you raise awareness to them and then hopefully push yourself a little bit out of your comfort zone to work with them in the group experience.
Yeah. Um, I have a question for you
Mm-hmm.
before we talk about the curriculum, because we're talking all about like, getting to know yourself a little better, working with your anxiety, and then, maybe getting to know yourself better, and then to be able to have better connections with people. Like, Kate, so many people are in such different places in their life. So I'm wondering, like, is everyone who signs up going to be accepted to the group? Like, how are you making sure that if I sign up that I'm the right fit? Because I want to make sure I get something out of it. Like, this still sounds very fluffy, but what if I'm not in that place? What if I'm not in a place to make more relationships? What if I just want support, like getting to know myself or feeling a little less anxious? Like,
Yeah.
how, yeah.
Yeah. So what we're doing is there is an application process for the group. And the reason why there's an application process for the group, confidential application process, is that we want to make sure that we're protecting the group environment, and that those individuals who apply and get accepted to the group are a good fit. So actually, we don't want everyone to be in the same chapter. For a group experience to be deeply healing, we'd want people who, just like you said, maybe I'm not even there yet. Maybe it's just a thought and I'm not at that place towards action.
Mm-hmm.
And another person in the group that is really very ready to push towards action and connecting with others, so that there's a balance. So yeah, if you're just wanting to have the experience of knowing the naturally soothing benefits of art therapy for healing, just wanting to have a place to land and other humans just happen to be there. You want a place where you can say, hey, this is my experience with anxiety and I'm just happy to land here every Wednesday evening, then absolutely I encourage you to apply. All different levels and chapters of these particular struggles are welcome and encouraged in what we're looking for.
That makes me feel better because really personally for myself, Kate, and I think I told you this and I'm just sharing it on here. Like to me, if I was signing up to a group like this, like I would want like one, just a space to like have space to connect with myself. And maybe to become aware of like the things that are on my mind that maybe make me feel out of touch with myself, or make me feel like a little edgy, so I'm not as connectable, right? Like I know there's times where loved ones in my life have said, like, "Are you here?" And it's usually because I have so much going on. And so to me, like a space like this is actually like working with the things that are on my mind, having a place to process or settle them so I could connect better or whatever it is. So I think
Yeah.
that, yeah.
And I think what comes up to me, for me, right, is that the art process in general is so naturally anti cookie cutter. Everyone is going to get the same art prompt every week, right? And no single person is going to make the same art image. I've never seen that ever, right? So everyone's so unique. There's going to be, through the process of art therapy, there's going to be something so individual that everyone gets out of it. So even though the curriculum and the goals may be set a certain way, it is deeply individualized at the same time, that's the fascinating, wonderful thing about art therapy.
Kate, I want to come to your group, but this is not for me. So let's talk about, I love you, but let's talk about, should we talk about the outline a little loosely and
Yeah.
then, great.
Yes, super loosely. So I know someone asked if it's virtual. This is an in-person group. Virtual groups, I'm sure, are coming in the future, as this is our first of many groups. That's why maybe it's so exciting. This is an 8-week structured art therapy group. So what does that mean? That means it's structured and closed. There's an application. There's going to be about maybe 6 to 8 participants, and then there's a structure that myself and my co-facilitator, our therapy intern Allison Harari, are going to be guiding you through. So week 1 is about deepening self-awareness or raising self-awareness. So on that spectrum, wherever you land, for how aware you are, how not aware you are, this exercise is really going to lift something up through the artwork. Psychoed on the self, what does it mean to be connected to yourself, a little bit of intro to parts work. So if you are familiar or not familiar, you'll dip your toes into parts work a little bit. Psychoed on the benefits of art therapy. And the first week is really going to be what you'd expect from a group. Group expectations, group rules, getting to know each other a little bit, and just like an intro. But already maybe starting to see something new for the first time about yourself or raise awareness to something again.
Can I add something to what you just, the thing that excites me most about the first week is that, yeah, you're going to hear like the basics of the group rules, but I love how essentially in the first week you start getting to know maybe parts of yourself. Parts work is something that's inspired right from internal family system. Essentially just means we have different parts of ourselves. And in this week, you really get to identify, right, if you're landing up there and you're feeling like people are avoiding you, or if you're landing up somewhere and you're feeling like you want to run away from people in your life, or maybe you feel like you're very clingy, or just feeling very like unsteady. In this first week, you're going to start identifying if there's maybe like a part of you that has a certain emotion or a behavior, so you can start working with it. So the concept of parts work, if you're new to it or not, like that to me is like a really powerful intervention for the first week.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
my list. Okay.
Week 2 and 3 is actually going to be the same art directive or art project. You'll be working on something a little bit longer for those 2 sessions, and it's going to be about orienting to your strengths, what are your strengths that you really can rely on, that are deeply part of you, and what makes you you and so special, and the things that people do want to connect with you on. And then also discovering blockages. So what are those parts of yourself that maybe are coming in the way of you connecting in whatever that is experience is for you, right? Whether you pull away or someone is feeling too much of an energy from you, the things that make it challenging to connect with others. So by week 3, we're starting to see more about the self, connect differently with the self, and then starting to shift into connection with others. So the first 4 weeks are about the self, the last 4 weeks are about others, and there's a general natural shift that takes place and like a reflection. So just really quick, this is an attachment thing. We know that you know, as babies, our sense of self gets reflected in the mom. We reflect back, hey, you, here's me, here's you. So kind of playing on that a little bit in the group as we reflect on our artwork, reflect on ourselves, we see others, they see us. Week 4 is also, and week 5 is the same thing. It's one art project, but it's 2 parts: mask making, an incredibly powerful art therapy directive. Mask making has 30 plus years of evidence backing this particular art intervention. It's one of the most powerful ways that we can look at ourselves and the roles that we play, the roles that we may want to put on, the masks we wear with others, the masks we want to take off. We don't want to wear that mask anymore. So that's week 4 and 5. And then week 6, taking up space, is a really exciting directive about more body-based, somatic-oriented resources about confidence. How does your body feel in the space? What are your resources? What are you noticing about when you're at a table with other people or you're in a room? Week 7 is building upon that. Your space and your connection, your sense of self, you're connected to your body, and how is that related to others? Again, you're going to be starting to see more awareness, more blockages coming forward as we're beginning to examine how that might be with others. And then week 8, integrating new perspectives, is the last session of the group where we're really integrating, we're reflecting, what did we find, and how can we piece it together and take it on, hopefully to deepen your healing journey, whether you're in individual therapy or maybe you're thinking about starting that journey. You have a really nice nugget of information to continue on your healing journey. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, because I guess I'm looking honestly at week 7 where it says challenging yourself to connect in new ways.
Mm-hmm.
Like an art and a movement directive of make a world. And here it's like feeling more connected to your body and sense of self, and there's like a group activity.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, right, I think you said there's like a psychodrama piece or a movement piece or a psychodrama piece there.
Yeah, so I feel like I don't want to give away too much.
Okay. Yeah, okay. What I'm thinking out loud as I'm reading about going into that is just like I'm thinking about how useful this group honestly would be to me. Like I know talking in the earlier meeting all about like sometimes just being seen and experienced by a group. Like say I have social anxiety, or say I have a very strong negative inner critic or a voice inside of me that feeds me negative beliefs. If I have a space in our process to share that with people, and obviously there is like support and kindness, there could be some really powerful exchanges happening between you and the other people in the group, which can really be like an interesting intervention, and almost like interrupt certain cycles that we unconsciously get into. So I'm just like looking at this, actually feeling fascinated and excited, and also yeah.
So I will share. So make a world, right, is an art intervention that requires collaboration with all of the group members. you cannot make the art, final art product without talking, maybe creating teams or coming up with solutions to create the final art product. So just like you so instinctually said, there's going to be dynamics that may come up that then at the end of the group, when we reflect on the art process, we can talk about those dynamics and reflect and process them. So the art and the movement directive is if we're making an art product and then there's movement involved, right? Maybe you're crossing arms with someone. Oh, I need to go over there. I need that. What do you think about this? So you really cannot go through week 7 without connecting with people, without talking to people, without engaging. And I could imagine how that could be anxiety provoking to hear that. So there is a working up to this, and that's why it's the second to last group experience. And the only week that we're really collaborating in such a way. So for those who might feel a bit anxious or noticing something stirring up inside when you think about this art directive, I do want to assure you that we have 6 weeks of really getting to know these wonderful people that are all going to be in a room together, based on our guidelines, based on the rules that make us feel comfortable, so that by the time you get to week 7, it may not be so scary to want to connect in this way.
I think the vibe that I'm thinking for the group, like this is just my sense, knowing from like how we have like our team meetings or even like the dynamics we have like at our team and like how we work collaboratively with each other. And I know how like you're interviewing people for this group, is that it's a really supportive, like peer focused, kind, and like building each other up space.
Mm-hmm.
Space to kind of be creative, be you. You don't have to be an artist, right? You said you don't need any art experience. Excuse me.
Yes.
Thank you. So yeah, any last things before, because I know that after this, like we'll share it and we will link the page on the website as well as the application.
Yeah. So what I also want to say is like our team meetings, and I hope you can sense maybe from the lightness of this conversation and maybe a little bit of energy from me. I'm hoping that this is a fun experience too, that the power of art therapy naturally brings a lightness into even the heaviest of topics. That's why I'm so passionate about art therapy, and I think maybe after this group experience you may too. So it's going to be a warm, inviting environment with hopefully some enjoyment and fun as well. If there's any questions on the website, there's an FAQ at the bottom of the website. If there's any questions that you have that don't seem to have an answer, when you do the application, I encourage you to apply regardless of hesitations or any questions. At the bottom of the application, there is a question form that you can ask me any specific questions, and I'll be making sure to reach out to everyone who applies, so that you can feel assured that this is the right fit for you.
I love what you said about the lightness, by the way, because sometimes when you think about groups, you think about like blah blah blah, an hour of talking about
Dark. It's a dark room, and everyone's just sitting in chairs.
And like what we have just right in our team meetings, and I think the same here, like you're an artist, like it's actually much more about like, we'll talk about real stuff, but there's like a lightness, there's humor, there's connection. Of course, there's space to hold, but there's really that balance. So if anyone's feeling like, it's like really this place is like, it's light, it's easy, it's open. If you want to try something, that's great. If you want to kind of go and do your own creative something, like you'll communicate with Kate about it. So I love that you said that, by the way, because yeah, it's very welcoming.
Yeah, and like there's goals and objectives, and for those who are feeling like I just want a landing place, right? These goals and objectives are going to be highly individual. So if you just come and you try a creative process for the first time, that is incredible. And that is something that we will reflect on week 8, what you took away from it. So it doesn't also have to be this fancy intellectual side of this therapeutic process. It can also be that you come every Wednesday evening, you land at this place, you're connecting with others, and you're trying something new, and you can feel so accomplished and proud of yourself at the end of the 8 weeks.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. Kate, so excited to have you on here. So excited for your wisdom. Super looking forward to people signing up and for this group starting.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for your time. And yeah, anyone who has any questions, reach out and stay tuned because we're going to be posting today and over the next few days some videos that Kate has explaining art therapy and just a bit more of this process. So,
Thanks, Esther.
bye.
Bye.